Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you've been here, yay, you finally found me. I'm so glad. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate your support and especially your comments. I love hearing how you react to various movies. And my subscribers already know that my goal is to save you time and money by giving you the scoop of filmmaking quality and content, so you can decide whether or not it's worth your time and money to watch a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Gladiator II. This action sequel to the incredible Gladiator 1, we didn't call it that, comes out in theaters on November 22nd, 2024. Now, we're going to see a box office battle because that's also a big day for Wicked. So we'll see which one prevails. Anyway, this movie is rated R, like the first one. It's 2 hours and 28 minutes long, and my overall movie review mom grade is a B plus. I thought it was really well done, not perfect, but still really well done. So what I'm going to do is give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I like, things I didn't like. I'll offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about if you watch this with others, funny lines, interesting lines, and we'll finish up with recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also really like. But first, today's featured product is Gladiator, the 4K UHD Steelbook, plus the Blu-ray, plus the digital copy. This is a limited release, and fans are getting pretty excited about it, actually. Click down in the description, and I'll share my Amazon affiliate link for you. It doesn't cost you more to buy it with my link, but Amazon will send me a few pretty pennies to thank me for telling you about this really cool product, and I really appreciate that support. All right, so back to the movie. In a nutshell, the first Gladiator movie with Russell Crowe earned 5 Academy Awards and deserved them all. It is a tough act to follow, but Sir Ridley Scott wanted to go for it. I just rewatched it last month in preparation for this sequel. Fans of the first movie showed impressive enthusiasm for this sequel when the first trailer came out. It received 128 million views within the first 24 hours. The film offers some nice Easter eggs to its devoted fans, such as Maximus's sword, shield, and ring. Nice. Already, the movie has been nominated for a couple of awards for Best Cinematography and Best Original Score. The sequel is about Lucius, whose home was conquered by Roman soldiers. Tyrannical emperors now lead Rome. What's new? Relishing in the many gladiator shows in the great Colosseum, Lucius fights for revenge and freedom. So quick tips for parents. This is a rated R movie, and it's mostly rated R for bloody, gory, brutal violence. Tons of battle scenes with a very high dead body count. Various weapons are used, as well as hand-to-hand combat and fisticuffs. So some of the themes that are illustrated very well are justice, strength, honor, power, revenge, survival, the dream of Rome, the value of life, and vengeance. So here's the long list of things I really liked about this film. First of all, the story goes that Paul Mescal took off his shirt to reveal his buff physique while doing the play A Streetcar Named Desire in London. Some Paramount studio executives who were sitting in the audience watching were impressed with not only him and his buff physique, but as well as how enthusiastic the women in the audience were about him. So they said, this is our guy. Now, when I first saw and reviewed the movie After Sun, I never would have imagined that Paul Mescal would become the next big gladiator. You expect a super buff, ripped guy, and he still, I think, seems soft around the edges for me, probably because of other movies and films or things that I've seen him in. But I'll talk more about him in just a minute. Two-time Oscar winner Denzel Washington was excited when Sir Ridley Scott told him that he had written a tough guy role just for him in this film. He is the only one in the movie with an American accent. Everyone else uses a British accent. Now, Denzel Washington had been criticized for his British accent when he did the 1988 film called For Queen and Country. I don't know if you ever saw that one. So that might have factored into why he decided not to do it again. And in a way, if you're thinking, well, Romans didn't have British accents anyway. What it does is it makes him stand apart, meaning that he probably would have been a character coming from Africa, and he would have had a different accent from all of the other Romans in that universe. You know what I mean? Anyway, apart from that, Denzel gives a fantastic performance. He elevates the cast and he even provides some humor to the film. Do we smell another Oscar nomination headed his way? Maybe, because people are saying he just stole every scene that he was in. The first few scenes of the film immediately made me feel that Sir Ridley Scott really loves the story and the franchise, because the whole movie looked like he was carefully protecting its visual continuity so that it felt like it really did belong to the first movie. And I thought that was really great. The dramatic cinematography by John Mathiasen was extremely effective. And wow, those fighting baboons, or whatever they were, monkeyish things, they were crazy intense. And we also see other animals fighting in the battlefield. For example, sharks, not probably probable, but certainly creative. All of the fight sequences are brutal, as I mentioned earlier. During the very first week of filming, 6 crew members were accidentally burned. And so if you're looking for lots of action, you'll be happy with the quantity of fight scenes and the close-up gritty action shots. Now, I've been told that those crew members are fine now, but that was scary, because in this movie, they do some pretty scary, rough stuff. We see a few characters from the first Gladiator movie, namely Connie Nielsen, Jilmin Hansu, and Sir Derek Jacobi. I've been to Rome a couple of times. Everything about it is just bigger than life. So it was really fun to see how the movie recreated the glory days of Rome in the set design. The set designs were built in Malta and Morocco and just look amazing. So if you don't like this sequel, check out another version that was actually written by Russell Crowe and Sir Ridley Scott many years ago. You can find it online, and it's very creative. Ultimately, and obviously, they decided not to use that version, but it was interesting. So this movie looks, feels, and sounds like an epic Hollywood blockbuster. It's a lot of fun. Now, onto the list of things that I didn't like or just thought could have been done differently or better. For example, some of the explosions, especially at the very beginning of the movie, and the fireballs, they just looked CGI fake. Some have complained that the leading gladiator should have been more engaging, like Russell Crowe. So charismatic, you wanted to follow him into battle, whatever, right? So we really don't get to know Paul Mescal's gladiator character very well in the very beginning, and yet we're supposed to cheer for him, but we don't really know him and love him yet. So Paul Mescal did a good job, but he is no Russell Crowe in this role. The trailer did reveal some plot points that could have been a fun surprise and kind of an earned plot point for audiences that didn't already know about them. So if you haven't seen the trailer and you want to see the movie, skip the trailer and just go for the movie, and then you'll see sort of that organic, natural unfolding of the story, and I think you might enjoy that a little bit more. Some of the dialogue isn't as elevating or as compelling as it should be, and as much as we would want it to be. So that was disappointing. And then some of the story points seemed like a simple rehashing of ones in the very first movie. You want it to be similar enough that it feels like it belongs to that original story, but you don't want to hear the same story over again. You know what I mean? So there was a little bit of that going on. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down the funny lines and the interesting lines simply so I can share them with you so you can get a taste for the dialogue and the themes oftentimes. When I looked back at my notes, I had not written down anything funny. This is a serious drama. There are humorous moments, but nothing laugh out loud that made me feel compelled to write that down in my review. But I wrote down a ton of interesting lines, so many that I'm not going to share them all with you right now because this would be a really long review, but you can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. But I will share some of them with you right now. So there's a very sweet line at the very beginning of the movie between Lucius and his wife. And Lucius, of course, is played by Paul Mescal. And she says to him, she gives him a ring as right before they're going to battle. And she says, where you are, I am too. And then he repeats it, where you are, I am too. And it's kind of like they're marrying each other all over again. And you do feel that genuine love. And now I'm not going to give you any spoilers. Stuff happens, but that's really as much of the deep insight that we get into him at the very beginning of the movie. And then several characters say this line in different contexts. The first time is with Connie Nielsen, and she says, remember who you are. But there's another warrior who says to Paul Mescal's Gladiator character, Lucius, remember who you are. Don't let them change who you are. And I thought that's a good theme for the movie, because remembering who you are is a very important plot point in this one. And then another line that Lucius says in remembering the very first movie and all that happens, he says, I remember that day. I never forgot it, that a slave could take revenge on an emperor. Like, who does that, and obviously that inspired him. And then again, I don't want to give any more spoilers about that. Now, Maximus is the character that Denzel Washington's character plays, and he's intense, but also really funny at times. But so the quote that I wrote down that he says is, did you hear that crowd? The greatest temple Rome ever built, the Colosseum, because this is what they believe in, power. And that is a huge theme in this movie, power and control of the masses. Now, there's another character named Ravi who's played by Alexander Karim, and he says, there is plenty of pain waiting for you in the next life. I don't know why you are so greedy for it in this one. And I thought that that was an interesting line. I don't know if Romans believed that the next life would be terrible, because most people believe it is going to be better. But so I thought that that was an interesting line. And also he's speaking to the fact that, why are you so eager to fight and battle and wage war and all of that kind of stuff. And then another big theme in the movie is spoken multiple times by various characters when they say strength and honor. And we see a lot of strength and honor in this film. Now, I'll tell you one line just because I want to give a shout out to Pedro Pascal, who's in this movie, who is so great. And he says, everything is forgotten in time. Empires fall, so do emperors. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so here are 3 movie recommendations that I wanted to share with you. The first one is called Medieval. That is a very brutal movie, but based on a true story and extremely violent. I did a review of that. And in fact, I'm going to queue that one up as soon as this review is over. So if you haven't seen it and you really are into the whole gladiator thing, this is a different time period in history, but just as brutal, but offering strength and honor as well. Medieval. Another one is called The Northman. Very similar, different time period, but really, really brutal and violent. But again, great themes of power, control, honor, family, that kind of stuff. So, and I did a review of that one as well. And then I wanted to recommend Robert the Bruce, just because that's people fighting for freedom, specifically Scotland. Now, it's not a great movie, but if you're into the battle scenes and all of that, maybe I really should be saying Braveheart, because that is so much a better movie. But Robert the Bruce continues the story of Braveheart. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate your support. Be sure and like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment below, all of those free actions. Spread magical YouTube fairy dust all over my channel so that it can grow and I can help other people find good movies to watch. Have a fantastic day. Visit me on social media and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.